Oh, God damn it. Every time. Every time. Hello. Woo. Hi. So I'm here against my will. Um, I'll say that. But so what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm going to be doing housework while we're doing this. Um, one moment. There's some phone data and other things that Mr. Ausbrook would like to talk about. And full transparency, I'm not exactly sure what this is, so we're going to find out together. And yeah, so let's just drag him on stage. Whoa, why are you so small? Hang on. Whoa, there you are. Hey,
Hey there. And
hey.
that's,
Hang
it's
on,
not just
hang on,
about,
hang on, hang on. Can you guys hear Ausbrook say something?
I am here.
Yes. Okay, so you can. Okay. Hi. Okay, so it's not just about what? Go on.
Well, it's not just about phone data. I mean, you and I were talking earlier this morning about, some pushback maybe you were getting about last night's terrific interview. And, we were talking about how there are absolutely two legitimate sides to this. Well, three if you include the lynch mob.
Okay.
Um,
Stop it.
but on you know you can believe and actually know now that the transcripts are out that Rick Allen did not get a fair trial and be all about due process.
Yep.
And there are other people who can be, and that is an important place, an important position to have. And then there are people who believe in his absolute factual innocence, and the people who believe in Rick's factual innocence should not be rejecting the people who say that he didn't get a fair trial, because a fair trial is supposed to protect the innocent. It's actually supposed to protect the guilty too, but
Right.
it's certainly supposed to protect the innocent.
Mhm.
And if you don't have the facts from which you can know that Rick Allen is innocent, you can
Mhm.
still, I mean, the facts are myriad that he did not get a fair trial.
Right. And
And so that's kind of what we were talking about.
right. And I think too that I think that, and I mean, I don't think it comes as a surprise to anybody that actually knows me that I am I'm in the you know all but innocent camp almost entirely. And I think that when I say I have questions about his, or I don't have an opinion on his innocence, I he's a not guilty. He's a not guilty. So, I think that I think that's the right place to be. So that's that without knowing, and that's why I think more information needs to come out. And I think that um, you know, that's my position. I mean, I'm a not guilty. So uh
Well, I'm a factual innocence kind of person.
absolutely. Yeah.
I've had a few innocence cases. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, Bob Ruff now on Truth and Justice. I've been working on Chris Bynum's case, quintuple murder in Gary in 2000. I've been working on that for 2 years, actually a little longer.
Hmm.
And I had another murder case in Kokomo that was actual factual innocence.
Hmm.
And the hallmark of actual, and I don't do mostly innocence work. Actually, innocence, you know, habeas work is real easy compared to actual innocence work. I
Yeah.
mean, it's very detailed investigation. It's grinding. Habeas, it's all baked in by the time I get it from the state courts, for the most part, not always, but almost always. And I just spin the top of the standards of review, And,
Right. Hey,
and
I have a
say
question.
we win.
I have a question about habeas. Um, so, and this is the interstate. So I don't remember if we were talking about, Mr. Allen being renditioned to yet another prison for God knows what. When, it sounds like, and I have no idea, but it seems like Attorney Juliana put out a statement or something that this is going to make the appellate process that much more difficult. Um, is there because of that, and just hear me out, because of that, is there some way to invoke habeas, to bring him back so he can be okay, go ahead. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, no. Oh, right.
The answer is an easy no. Habeas is about custody. It's not about who has custody. It's about whether someone is entitled to hold, and that is to say, you can't do habeas, for instance. Well, you can at the states.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get him back for habeas. Now, if the habeas petition had been filed, so under Federal Rule of Appellate Procedure 22, you can't move somebody with a pending habeas petition, at least without the consent
Okay.
without the consent of the district court. And there's a reason for that, and that is that it is the warden generally who gets sued,
Right.
and so you don't want to make it a shell game. Kind of what the current administration has done with any number of the people they've
Yes.
scooped up on immigration stuff.
Right.
And habeas for Rick is 5, 6, 7 years away, and I hope we never have to go there. And by
Right.
the way, I won't. I almost certainly won't be doing it.
Right.
And there's an interesting question, and it may not be interesting. There may be somebody who knows the answer off the top of their heads. I mean, there are habeas mavens out there who know a great deal more than I. But the question, just as a sort of theoretical matter, is if Rick's in Oklahoma, do you sue the Oklahoma warden
Right.
or do you sue the Indiana DOC?
Well, and that's
Yeah.
and that's the thing. And so that's my concern is that, man, we saw what happened when he got renditioned to Westville and tortured, right? And now he's in another state. And I mean, the thing about law is that law and justice are not necessarily the same thing. And I think that between um, between the two, it's just so weird because between the two sovereigns, who oversees it, right? So let's do another. So we're going to be talking about phone data or something like that, but um, there you have some phone data and some other things you want to talk through that I'm not really familiar with, but need some eyes on, and more information is good, department. So maybe we need to put a pin in this habeas conversation and about the different uh, who is responsible for what and how to approach Oklahoma versus IDOC. So I don't know if that's the right conversation to have right now because nothing can be done about it. And maybe we should just look at the information that you have from the phone. And can you maybe talk about that?
Yeah, well, and that's not just the phone. Maybe we should start with the car.
Okay, so let's set this.
And the purpose of this, from my perspective, is so you're on
Okay.
the due process side.
Well, it's not even that. I'm on the I just don't know what this is side, and I want to see evidence.
Right.
I'm just nosy.
and this will help explain. So I think I started to say, I haven't done, I am not an innocence project. Most of my cases aren't innocence cases. They're due process cases in one form or another. But that said, one of the hallmarks in my experience, and maybe it's limited to 4 cases, is that when you're actually doing the investigation in a case that you think is one of actual factual innocence, that nothing new that you look at makes the client look more guilty.
Right.
And and at the same time, new things come up that either make the client look innocent or make the state's case look like it's complete nonsense.
Well, the state's case is complete nonsense here. In Richard Allen's case, they failed utterly, and how the jury got to guilty is mind-numbing.
Well, the one juror we have said the white van was convincing, and look, absent contrary evidence, and this is the thing that happens, I think, on both sides, the lynch mob and the due process / factual innocence folks, and that is people everywhere, and the prosecution as well, ignore inconvenient facts.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite example, we were talking about this earlier, was Nick McClelland in an interview after the trial saying, "Oh yeah, we knew about the headphone activity, but we just thought it was nuts. And they were never going to use it."
Right.
And sort of the lack of curiosity here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm a prosecutor, and my phone expert says, "Hey, there's phone activity, headphone in at 5:45, and it's pulled out at, I think, 10:32.
Is that what this is?
No, this is something entirely. Entirely different.
All right. You let me know when you're ready to talk about whatever that is.
But anybody with any curiosity, especially when you're thinking of trying to throw a man in prison for, basically 2 life sentences,
right?
You might want to know what the hell that is. Now, maybe his phone expert said, "Yeah, that's crazy." Well, okay. Well, why isn't the rest of the phone data crazy then? And maybe we'll get to talking about how some of the phone data may be crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's because the thing is that phone data and what is and is not there is so critical here. And, at this stage, unfortunately, it's going to have to come down to like the cranks and whoever to actually solve this thing. Because the appeal is not a done deal. It's not even close. So yeah.
So I wanted to share today, a few of the reasons from the stuff I've looked at, and some of it's actually been looked at publicly and I think been forgotten.
Right.
That's the car stuff.
Yeah, that has.
Why I'm still doing this, because every time I look at this stuff, there's sometimes it takes a while. It's not every time I look at it. That's an exaggeration. But as I look at stuff, there's just more and more and more that says the state's case was complete nonsense. I mean, it was a fairy tale.
I mean, it's like, it just feels like something that rhymes with schmasu, schmorial, schmishmonduct.
And yeah, well, I don't know. You want to start with a car, or do you want to start with the phone?
Well, the phone thing is the only thing I have up. I'm going to work on getting all of that crap because I'm having difficulty because I'm whatever. But let me put this. Can you tell me what this phone evidence is? Like, is this the first? Can we start here?
Yeah, we can start. Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
explain to the people what this is? And then I'm going to work on getting all the other things that you sent me.
So this is the first of two.
And please tell me the provenance.
It's from the phone extraction, and it's from the phone extraction, and one of the four reports that were recreated from the. So there are two phone extractions. Bunner did a logical extraction,
Mm-hmm.
and then Cecil did a physical extraction. And I
Cecil.
think Cecil did, so Bunner did a 2017 Cellbrite report, and it's very incomplete compared with the later stuff, as it should be, because it's only a logical extraction.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the Bunner Cellbrite 2017 Cellbrite report. There's a 2019 Gray Key report. I'm not sure that I have the entire Gray Key. I have the report that Cecil put together from what the Gray Key software told him. I don't think I actually have the Gray Key software to look at the phone data. Then there's God, it's
You can do it.
Magnet Magnet Axiom
Uh-huh.
was another piece of software that was used on the physical extraction in 2019. This is from the Magnet Axiom extraction. And then there is the 2024 Cellbrite report
Mm-hmm.
that Cecil did. And it's interesting because his deposition, I think, was in May, but the date on the poll is, well, he was
So what?
deposed. Yeah, go ahead.
No. So what are we, but what? So that's the provenance, right? So what are we actually looking at? Because I am not a crank and that knows the timeline and all this other stuff as much as all you all do. So can you explain to me?
So this is a screenshot from the network connections section in the time. Well, actually, it's either from the network connections or it's from the timeline in the Magnet Axiom report. I think it's actually from the timeline.
Mhm.
And what this shows is there's some at 4:34 in the morning on the 14th. There's a fair amount of data transferred. Hang on, you hang on.
Yeah.
This is the second one. I want to see the first one,
Okay.
please.
Sorry. One moment, please. And all eyes, I'm sending you the stuff so you can post it and put links up. Lady, if you're here, you want the first one. Okay, so that
I
is
want the
the one that is, sorry, I'm having user error. The first one is the, please stand by. I'm sorry, sir. For some reason, my airdrop is not working correctly. So it's the one that is says process. So type is process, music, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. It's just my airdrop is acting weird. Oh, okay. Finder, one moment, please. 10,000 apologies, everyone. Mm, mm, mm. How's that one? This one? Yeah. Ahoy.
Yeah. So this is connected to some network. Looks like it says mobile. So it's 434.21.909. So it's actually down to milliseconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And no Wi-Fi, but whole bunch of data. I mean, we're talking about a megabyte received and 292 kilobytes sent. And we know that at 433 at least and change, and maybe it spilled over to 434 and some. I think it was 17 text messages and various things, Facebook messages, whatever came streaming in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and so that's coming in over the cell network, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it says mobile bytes sent, mobile bytes received. Now go to number 2.
Uh-huh.
So this is, if you believe the Times, it's 2 milliseconds later. 434.21.911, not 909, right?
Yes.
Look at the Wi-Fi line. There is Wi-Fi data sent and received. There is no Wi-Fi at the bottom of that hill
Oh.
while the phone is under Abby's leg, under a shoe.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I'm looking at this and the Wi-Fi sent and received, right? But at the bottom it says, okay, that's wired. Sorry, go ahead. Apologies.
No, it is what it says it is,
Yeah.
and only so the only thing that goes on along with it is, so there's a network connection section. Look, this is not, so we have 4 separate reports, right? And this is one of the things that is infuriating about this phone data and why it is so tedious. There is stuff in one report that's not in the other. There's stuff in one report that contradicts another.
Mm-hmm.
There is stuff that contradicts what Cecil said at his deposition. There is stuff that contradicts what both the experts said at trial. The stuff
Mm-hmm.
about, I will give you an example. Everybody was saying at trial, everybody agreed that because the phone only keeps power log for the most recent on off thing. That's just not true. There are on off events earlier. There are on off events. There are power log events from before the phone was reset on the 4th of February in 2017. So look, I'm not, I have said this elsewhere. I am not a phone expert. I play one in the movies, and I'm playing one in your movie right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to nominate me for an Oscar. All I can do is read. That thing says there was Wi-Fi data transmitted and received. To me, that means there had to be a Wi-Fi connection. And the only Wi-Fi connection that it could be is a mention without a date or time that says ATT Wi-Fi, all one word. And what I think that is, and we're going to look into it, is
Mm-hmm.
that phone hooked up to an AT&T Wi-Fi hotspot somewhere around town.
Nailed it. Okay, so I put these up, I just put them up next to each other in case that's helpful. I don't know if it is or it's
Yeah,
not.
and if you're reading Arabic, it works well because you need to read
Damn
from
it.
right to left.
You are, son of a, go ahead, sorry. I'll do it again. Sorry. But
So
is it
this whole story, what? Go ahead.
is it helpful to have them next to each other for, do you think?
Yeah, sure. You'll see the 00 and the Wi-Fi line in the first one, and you'll see that there's actual data transferred over. So the
Okay.
data transfer begins
Mm-hmm.
2 milliseconds later,
Mm-hmm. Got it.
and so if there was a Wi-Fi connection, at 4:34 and change in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Nick's whole story about Abby being a hero by sticking the phone to preserve the phone under her leg is a fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
And it's a fantasy for another reason, and it's really not possible to put screenshots up, but somebody and I have been working on this, and the other
Oh.
somebody has a much more detailed analysis of it. But there are display on and display off events long after Rick Allen is supposed to have left the scene before 4 o'clock, and Sarah Carbaugh sees Muddy Bloody Guy.
Mm-hmm.
And those display on and display off events are not associated with any emails coming in, any text messages, nothing. That is somebody handling the phone.
So, okay. Now there, I think that we're correct. Is this present and correct here?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you read from left to right.
God damn it, Michael. I don't know. Yes. For, okay.
And I can't explain why Apple. So Livy did not have much of any music on her phone. And so I don't know why Apple Music is trying to connect. I mean, it just may be a background thing, but look, as I was saying, all I can do is read. That says Wi-Fi bytes sent, Wi-Fi bytes received, and this report clearly distinguishes between all three kinds.
Okay, God, I'm going to ask a question and you're going to yell at me, but try to not. Oh God, was this that presented at trial?
No.
Huh. Well, there's the thing.
The other thing, let's go to lack of curiosity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Snapchat pictures. Maybe somebody in your chat knows. Does anybody know if the Snapchat picture of the empty bridge was actually posted to Snapchat? I know it was found in the phone, unlike the 207 one. But was the 205 Snapchat picture actually ever posted to Facebook? If anyone knows.
Yeah, this is a hive mind situation.
Yeah, well, we'll get to another hive mind situation in a minute.
Okay.
Anyway, my point about this is in the most complete, and when I say most complete, it should be, right? It should be the 2024 Cellbrite report done from the physical extraction, which is supposed to be the complete file system, should have everything. In the upload section, there are no uploads since July 2016, and all the July 20 and only in July 2016, and the only uploads in July 2016 are Snapchat uploads. So the questions that arise from this, and again, I don't have an answer, are how is upload information from July 2016 in a phone that was reset on the 4th of February of 2017? Is there a way that just got migrated over from the iPad? But my information is the iPad was reset and not very useful. I don't know. Stacey Eldridge has said there's a way to tell, and I don't know what it is, that whether something came from the iPad or came from the phone. I don't think this artifact information about the Wi-Fi and wireless connection certainly didn't come over. So somebody says the Snapchat time. So I would like to know how the 205 picture of the empty bridge got posted to Snapchat and there is nothing about it in the upload section of the Cellbrite report.
And
The 2024 Cellbrite.
oh, okay. All right. The 2024.
And there is equally, so we all know that, at least from the friend, and somebody else knows who the friend was, who posted the Abby picture that couldn't be found on the phone, right? And he
Right.
posted that around 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I guess it was 7 hours earlier or something. And that's how, and sure enough, I mean, there is Snapchat activity at 2:05 and change and 2:07 and change. I would like to know how either of these pictures made it to Snapchat without anything being in the upload section, when the upload section of the report clearly has Snapchat uploads, but only Snapchat uploads from July of 2016. And so this is what I mean about lack of curiosity. I can't imagine that Cecil, look, Stacey Eldridge has said that Stacey Eldridge said on Bob Motta's Live, there's a lot more she could have said, but she wasn't asked. I don't know what she has said. I gave this Wi-Fi data to the lawyers and was told, yeah, I don't know, but Stacey Eldridge is $300 an hour. Thank you very much. And my attitude about this is that absent permission from them, the lawyers, the work she did for them and didn't testify about is absolutely privileged. And unlike just to contradict the people who've been claiming I've like all these ethical violations I've committed, I'm not going to even invite Stacey Eldridge to violate the privilege of her work for the defense team. I'm just not going to, or I'm going to go to somebody else. It's a waste of time and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
So there's a question, and I don't know if anybody knows, can app data, and this is for the royal we, the all of us, and I don't know, and can app data be recovered once apps are reinstalled after a reset? I mean, I don't know, right?
I don't know what you mean by app data. I mean, are you talking about app data about the app having been activated? Are you talking about the
Like
Snapchat?
reinstall. I think what I'm reading here is that there was a reset. Presumably they had to reinstall applications, not appetizers like a blooming onion. I'm hungry.
Well,
So
I mean, it keeps means app data. By app data, he means the old Snapchat pictures and stuff. Yeah, I have no idea, but the point is that this phone was not reset. After 213, 214 when the girls were found. There's nothing to recover, and if it's not in the upload section, I just don't have any idea what that means.
okay. Now my girl has
I explained that a little earlier, I think. No, there was, so Cecil, according to his deposition, Bunner did a logical extraction, less data. You'd have to ask Stacey Eldridge or somebody else who knows precisely what the difference between a logical extraction and a physical extraction is. But in 2019, Cecil did a full physical extraction. He did a full physical extraction, and so then in 2019, he used this Magnet Axiom software and used this Gray Key software. The Magnet Axiom software I have, Gray Key I don't. But he used the 2024, he used the latest version of Cellbrite on the physical extraction, as I understand it, that he did in 2019. And that's the most complete report. I mean, that report is 40,000 pages.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of it's useless, but the timelines are good. And to go back to the AT&T Wi-Fi network name, I think everybody's familiar with, if you're on your home network, the network name of your home network name would show up in the network connections.
Right. Yep.
And
mine says FBI.
Right. So if this were Ron Logan's house, a router there, or even if it were, so there is data that shows if you try to tether the phone, that will show up as a separate thing. In other words, you can see that the phone's being tethered to something. In other words, the phone, if it were hooked up to another phone, if it were hooked up to another iPad or something that was using the cell network, it would show the probably gobbledygook digits and colons and whatever of that name. But the only thing that shows up, again, without a timestamp, I don't believe, is ATT Wi-Fi. And so what happens is, and what I think it is I know, so I have Xfinity, and if I'm driving around town, I mean, I know this is 8 years later, and I don't know what the situation in Delphi in 2017 was, but if I'm driving around town, Comcast, which is Xfinity, has a bunch of Wi-Fi hotspots around town. One of them is actually maddeningly close to my house, so that instead of hooking up to my incredibly fast Wi-Fi network, sometimes I find out that I'm hooked up to the Xfinity hotspot, and it shows up as Xfinity as the network. And yeah.
No, I was just gonna make fun of you by saying I pegged you for a dial-up guy. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm the.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm the pre-Luddite. I was a Luddite before there was such a thing, right?
Right. No, for sure. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. So it could be, it's picking up another something that it's close by. So yes, it's almost like, so like the way I think about what you're saying is like when I go into a store, my phone there'll be like 100 different Wi-Fi's. There's like, oh, the XYZ free Wi-Fi. There's the hotspot. There's all this other stuff from all of the other stores in the block, and that's a lot of stores here, friends. So yeah. Man,
But again, I look, I think one of the
so what does it suggest? So what is this? So tell me what this, and I think I know, but let's talk through what this suggests then.
It suggests that at least the phone, if not the bodies, we're not at the bottom of that hill at 4:32 in the morning when 4:33 in the morning when all those text messages came streaming in. It was near a Wi-Fi connection someplace, which means somebody took it. It's possible the bodies weren't there, but it only at a minimum it means the phone wasn't there, which means somebody took the phone down to the bodies. Just as the display on, display off events all through the afternoon and into the early evening, I believe, show that somebody was handling that phone. Those display on and off events are somebody hitting the side button or the home button or whatever to look at the phone. There is, and but to give you an idea of how infuriating all this stuff is.
Okay, wait a minute. I got to stop for 1 second, okay? Because what you just said made my ears prick up. Somebody had to interact. There had to be a human interaction with the phone for the on-off event.
That's my take on it. It's not happening because
It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone, right? So,
yeah.
okay. That
And there are no associated. So, you know, the screen might flash on if you get a text or an email or something. I don't know what the notification setting was, but but there are no emails. There's no events associated in the timeline. There's no event associated with these display on, display off events. The other thing that's absolutely curious about them, and I know Stacey Eldridge on Bob Motta's live said, "Oh yeah, no problem. Phone at 4%, you know, goes into low power mode, can last till the morning." I just don't believe it for a minute. I mean, Stacey Eldridge is the expert. I'm sorry. There's no evidence it went into airplane mode. There's no evidence. Low power mode, you know, my Cecil search of low power mode says it doesn't get you much. And there is entirely too much activity on that phone almost continuously through the afternoon into the early evening. And then in the morning. And look, there is no evidence that I know of that the phone was turned off. There's no evidence of the stuff I've seen that the phone was recharged. The thing I can't do, so Cecil in his 2019 Gray Key report includes in a footnote that that there's for the 4th of February, when it was reset, I believe there's in some database, there's a record that the phone was rebooted. And so that's the next question I have for it.
Wait a minute. So Ange, our beloved, just, oh my God. It's going to take me a hot second to figure out what's going on over there, but it looks like, shit. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to have to look at this a little bit. It looks like it's a list of, so an exhibit thing came out. Ange posted it, and it's like 39 blank pages, excluded from public access. Oh my God. Oh, they've excluded.
Is it Frank's memo stuff?
No, it's audio, phone call, Westville videos. Hang on a second. Where's my cat is like meowing like a motherfucker. Where you at, boo? This is a video file too large to send. Must come in person to view. Now somebody mentioned that the other day. Rod Abrams had a phone. What in the fuck is this?
I'm going on mute for a minute to put on the camera.
Yep. I'm assuming that Ange will talk about that later, or okay. Wow. Yeah, there's nothing there. You're absolutely right.
And look, I don't want to get too far out over my skis. All I can do is read, right? I can't imagine that this doesn't. On the one hand, I can't imagine that this doesn't mean what it says it means. On the other hand, my view of the phone data is it's a mess.
Yes,
And let me give you, and I know I've mentioned this. How is it possible that two different reports from, so I think it's the 2017 Bunner Selbright report and the 2019 Magnet Axiom report, how is it they can't even agree on what time the phone was at 4%? I mean, there's an hour plus difference between the two. Just why is that?
right.
That makes no sense to me. Now, I was looking at, what's the guy's name? Whiffen?
Yes. Ian Whiffen?
Yeah, so I was looking at his page. He has a page about databases, and I just don't have the database. I don't think that has it in. But I'd want to know, did iPhone 6s keep track of if not external temperature, battery temperature? Because I would want to know the battery temperature
That's a
over
good,
time.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there is a database that, at least on newer phones, includes that, and I just don't know whether an iPhone 6s does. But my only point about this is that there's, on the prosecution side, on the defense side, Stacey Eldridge has a lot more she could say, but nobody asked her. It's just like a total lack of curiosity out there.
Hang on a second here. I'm just looking through the chat.
And the
Go
guilt
ahead.
people, and the lynch mob, the pro-guilt people. Look, I understand. Look, you're not into this very deeply. You hear a guy confesses 51, 61, however many times. Yeah, see ya. Worse than Koberger, because he didn't plead guilty, which he should have, because he's guilty.
Right.
I get that if you're just walking along the surface of the water, but again, for me, it's all about inconvenient facts. And I know I've said this on lives before. The Ron Logan stuff is incredibly believable, but what are the reasons that get in the way of Ron Logan? Every little pathway with every little suspect every suspect you come up with, there are kind of roadblocks there. And
Yep.
I wasn't. Yeah, the Ron Logan 2017 confession is incredibly powerful. Details, if you believe the box cutter stuff, details only the killer would know, and he knew it in 2017, 3 months after the murders.
Hey, hang on a second. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Can someone ask Michael about if he can see prior hotspot connections? So
I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any. It's just this one. The only mention. There's a single mention in the entire. So I got this from the mag.
But this is a great question. Thank you, Boobs. This is a great question. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, all the connections are Wi-Fi, like home Wi-Fi with names.
Okay.
And this is part of the problem I have with the phone data, because it really takes an enormous amount of time both to come up with the discrepancies. So there are discrepancies on the one hand, but then there's stuff that's in one report but not another. And so keeping track, I'm not floofy with a spreadsheet. My spreadsheets look awful, but I'm trying to sort it all out. I've got about, I don't know, 50, 60 hours into the phone data so far. And the other thing people need to realize is, I think that phone was actually, after Bunner did his logical extraction, I think that phone was returned to the family. There is stuff on there going all the way to October of 2017, and that stuff from October 20 going into October of 2017, it's not all police stuff for sure.
Okay, let me just recap here. So to make sure that I am understanding, because I know that, oh God, I have a hard time reading things like this. But while you get your tea or whatever you're doing that's obscuring your audio, let me just recap. So on the left-hand side of the page, what we're looking at is from the extraction. Go back and listen to provenance if you want it, folks. But this is showing all the way down at the bottom that this is a network. There's a network connection being made on 2/14 that connected on 2/14/2017 at 4:33:38 a.m. Okay, so that's what this one on the left is showing. The one on the right shows basically 33, just a little bit. Hang on. This is showing Wi-Fi connections versus network connections, the one on the right. Now, last date.
So
Yes.
They're both network connections. They're just different kinds. One's
That's right. Yes.
One's a
Correct.
cell network and the other's a Wi-Fi network.
Right. But that's an important distinction here, is that it shows, actually, that's fucking weird. Huh. Okay, because they're like milliseconds apart. Right?
It's 2 milliseconds later. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. I don't know, man. This is so weird. This is a good question. I don't know. Was this Becky Patty's phone? I don't know. I don't know if that was. I know that she said that she sometimes let her use her phone, right? But
well, there's some interesting stuff on there. It seems pretty clearly Libby was using it from the 4th.
yeah, okay.
Whether she was using it before that, hard to say. I just look. I got a ton of questions about this, and the Wi-Fi connection again is just reading, explaining the no uploads. I just don't understand that. I also don't understand. So there was an so in one phone record, and I mean phone record, not phone data.
Okay.
In one phone record, there's an out-of-state call.
Oh.
For 3 seconds, long after the girls are supposed to be dead.
Outgoing or incoming?
Incoming. Well, it's outgoing to Libby's number. It shows up on some phone records.
Okay.
And while it is possible that this call goes to voicemail, because the possibility that this voicemail shows up from another phone record, again, not the phone data. But this phone call never shows up anywhere in the phone.
Okay, so you're gonna have to help me.
So it connected. However, this call came in from out of state, and I know who it is, and it's like.
Was it a landline?
It could have been.
Okay.
But the call comes in. It says it's for 3 seconds, and it's not on the phone. The problem is that 2 similar calls from Libby's mother in the same phone records do show up on the phone.
Oh God. So this sounds
And
like abject fuckery.
I have, it, I don't start with fuckery. It's, to some extent, these programs that interpret data, I think, there's a certain voodoo aspect to them.
Well, but hang on a second. Hang on a second. You said records versus data, right?
Right. I'm talking
So
about phone records. I'm talking about phone records from a phone company.
I understand.
Call detail records.
Okay, so I'm going to need you to hear me out. Okay. Okay. So when we're talking about the details from the phone company, what I picture in my head is my Verizon bill. Is that a good way to think about that? Basically, it's showing the calls that were logged, right? Coming in, out, whatever.
Yeah, and it has a lot more data too. It has like a caller information code.
Okay,
Has,
but generally speaking, for the
yeah,
layperson, if I'm thinking about it that way, plus, okay, so what I'm hearing is that on the record from the the record from the phone company, that call, at least this is what I'm hearing, there were calls from, did you say Libby's mother or Abby's mother?
from Libby's mother.
Okay, so hang on. So there were calls from Abby.
There were calls from Libby's mother that do show up on the phone.
Yes, and this is me trying to.
And this call for 3 seconds does not.
Okay.
And it doesn't even show up as voicemail. I mean, the voicemails show up in the phone data too. So it doesn't show up either as a call or as voicemail.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to just listen to me for 1 second. Do I have permission now? Hello.
Silence.
I need you. Okay. Because this is what I'm trying to put together, and this it could just be me that's slowing the uptake. But if I'm looking at a printout, let's say from a phone company that has there's 2 calls from my mom and a call from some friend of mine in another state, that all shows up on the actual detail printed out, or let's say that shows up from the phone company. However, everything shows up in the extraction except that out of state number. Is that a right way to think about this?
Yeah, but her mother's number's out of state too.
It doesn't, okay, immaterial. What I'm saying is that the mistake, the missing data is constant. Yes, the missing data is constant between the two. So that missing phone call across the two the extractions, or whatever the case may be. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is there any?
Oh yeah, no, that phone call's missing in all the extract. So I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't have the full gray key thing.
okay,
The
interesting.
phone does not appear in 2017 Bunner Cellbrite PDF, and it doesn't show up in the 2024. It doesn't show up in the 2019 Magnet Axiom, and it doesn't show up in the 2024 Cellbrite.
Wait, so all eyes, are you telling me that people can call on Snapchat? Woof. I didn't know that.
The call wasn't. No, no, it's not via Snapchat. This is. It's from a land. Somebody's call.
Okay.
Snapchat is not involved with it at all.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So.
And the Snapchat activity would show up, and it's not there.
Yeah. Okay. So the Snapchat data. Yeah. And I mean, we've kind of, yeah, that's always been a question, the Snapchat stuff. But this is something different and new that happens, you know, within milliseconds of itself at or of each other at 4, you know, on the 14th. So the morning that they were supposedly in that field already dead.
Yeah, with the phone under Abby's leg.
Yeah.
Nowhere near a Wi-Fi network.
So, I mean, okay. So, I mean, here's the possibility is that the actual experts ruled this out for some reason.
Well, there was no testimony about it. I know Cecil wasn't asked about it in his deposition. And I don't know. I don't know. Given all the attention, so you have to recall that Cecil originally thought that the phone died at 10 o'clock at night, 10:30, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then he did, and I don't think it was till 2024 or till it was pointed out by the defense that no, the phone actually, look at all these seven, was alive because look at all these text messages that came streaming in at 4:33 and change. And the thing that I have a hard time getting my head around is that everybody should have been looking very closely at the timeline around 4:33 in the morning when those text messages came in. And 4:34 is very near 4:33, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so look, I don't know. It would be nice if I did. It'd be nice if I could interrogate, if the defense gave me permission to go to Oklahoma and talk to Stacey Eldridge.
Mm-hmm.
I would take her out for any number of nice lunches.
Wait, stop. Hold on. Is she so case by case is here who is like we were gonna give her a shout out about all this stuff because hey girl, didn't you just have a baby child? Did I get that right? So Amy's here. Amy, do you want to talk about something? Or you got a baby? Do you has baby? um, Congratulations. That's great. What kind of grandbaby?
Human.
Are you huzzah? um Oh, listening from work. Oh, baby boy, yay! Aw, congratulations, Miss Thing. Well, so just to be fair, when Michael and I were talking about doing this, did I not say to you, Michael, that this is Amy, like, please talk to Amy about this? And you're like, well, she just had a grandbaby and whatever. Aw, so great. Yay.
Hey, somebody asked in the chat, and Cole Spacek asked if it couldn't have been connected to someone's phone as a hotspot, and I think I answered that earlier, but I'll answer it again.
Hang on, let me find it so I can put it up. Let me go back through the chat and find these.
Okay. It's 4 up from the bottom on mine.
Well, we know you're accurate. Okay, here we go. Also connecting to Wi-Fi, but does it include hot? Okay, yeah. Someone's hotspot.
Yeah,
but let me say this. There's nothing dumb. There's no dumb questions. Actually, if there is, I'll yeet you. But this is not dumb. It's a good question.
No, and I've been and the answer is that again, assuming the information in the phone from is more or less complete. So I've looked at the 2020. So this is from the 2019 Magnet Axiom software extract, working on the full physical extraction. I went and looked at the 2024 Cellbrite extraction, and there's only ATT Wi-Fi. If it were tethered, that shows up in the Apple data as a log event. That's my information from doing Cecil searches.
Right.
And there is no tethering event. There's no network name. So even if you were tethered to a phone via the cell network to get to the other phone's Wi-Fi network, I mean, think about this. So if the other phones, so you wouldn't be tethered to the phone on Wi-Fi because, well, yeah, you're tethered to the phone on Wi-Fi and it goes out on the cell network. It's just there's no network connection for that. There's nothing indicating. There's no tethering thing. There's no network hookup. So, when I tether my phone on those rare occasions, I see like the network thing as a bunch of numbers and a colon, colons and something digital. And there's nothing like that. So again, it's not a dumb question. It's something that has to be eliminated. And again, I saw somebody in your chat saying, I think Rick's definitely guilty, but but he didn't get a fair trial. And
welcome.
Well, justice.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I'm not saying you're wrong to think that. I'm just saying when you're thinking he's definitely guilty, what points to the fact that he's not? Well, or at least that the state's case against him said he left at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Before 4 o'clock, he's seen, according to Sarah Carbaugh, if you believe her, he's seen walking down the road at 3:56.
Yeah.
And if this phone is moving around, then the story that the state told, with people handling the phone after that, Wi-Fi connections after that, headphone activity after that.
Yeah.
Those are really inconvenient facts for people who think that it's filthy. Now, if you want to explain all of that away, have at it.
Right.
I'm putting this up here. This and the questions I have about the phone data are the reason I'm still here, because nothing in the phone data makes Rick look more guilty, and everything I've seen, whether it makes him look innocent or nothing, makes him look more guilty, and everything I've seen says to me the state's case was a total fairy tale. And I've said, I think the phone data tells a story. I'm not sure what the story is, but it's definitely not the story that was told at trial.
Right. And I think that's the key. That's the key here. And I think that is the thing that is getting, which is why the purposeful lack of transparency makes, I cannot be led to any other. I mean, this is why this needed to be tried in the light, and that's why supposedly in our system, that's why trials are public. This was public in name only. I mean, it's like it's a soup song, if you will, of public. I mean, setting up a Lord of the Flies situation in which people have to line up in the middle of the night like they're waiting outside Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, Iowa for Duran Duran tickets to go on sale is nonsense, right? Nobody should be having to do that for a public trial only for 1980s bands. I think that I've made my point. This thing was tried in the dark, and because what you're saying, the fairy tale has been perpetuated. The fairy tale that the state has told has been perpetuated because people were not allowed in the room and because the state gets the benefit from the public. Because my God, people and people, and I get it, people want to believe that their police force could never do X, Y, and Z. People want to believe that there's good guys and bad guys, that they're the good guy. Give me a break, right? I mean, let's all wake up a second here. And so there's a very specific reason that you pile this just on top of everything else. I mean, it just is like the case is a train wreck, but yet here we are. And I mean, it was actually a mess from the jump. Going home to your bed.
Look, I don't think the phone data stuff that we're talking about here, was a victim of the lack of transparency. I think
No, that's not my point. Not my point at all. My point is that because now where we're at, there's such an entrenched mindset around what the fairy tale was that it makes it difficult for people to open to understand that the whole story was not told. I think, and because there wasn't transparent, I'm not saying this has anything to do with transparency or not. I'm keying into your fairy tale argument, and that is absolutely correct. And so that dislodging that, and trying to actually bring in facts, data, and get rid of the junk science of the Oberg Society, and so I think that the narrative is so entrenched. It's yeah, I don't know.
So a lot of questions about the phone data, but again, this just says what it says, right? And again, somebody else raised the whole tethering, the whole tethering question again, and I have no reason. Look, let's assume it's tethered. Let's assume it's wired to another. I mean, there's no activity, so it would have to be wired. There's no evidence that it's hooked up to anything else. There's no evidence it's connected to anything else. But suppose it was. There's still somebody else there at that time in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just suppose it was tethered, and there's just no evidence of it. That's an entirely different story from what was told at trial.
Yes, and that is true. I mean, that is fact. Hang on a second.
And if you want to say, you want to speculate that Rick Allen went back late at night, show me the Hoosier Harvest Store footage with his car on it going either way. He's walking down there on his own at night to like tether a phone or to stick a phone under Abby's leg. Yeah, maybe, I suppose. Doesn't sound right to me, but we do know that Ron Logan was out there that night. And again, I'm not saying Ron Logan did it. There's a huge problem. Ron Logan, if you believe the head, again, it's, I'm willing to consider the inconvenient facts. And like, while I find Ron Logan's confession to Reese Davis incredibly compelling, at least certainly the May 7th, the May 2017 version.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the details, I mean, they truly are things that only the killer could know. And let me put it this way. I certainly believe that Ron Logan said those things to Reese. He couldn't make them up. He'd been in prison. I mean, that Reese's not making that stuff up. in 2017. I mean, the stuff wasn't public. But if you want Ron Logan being involved in this, there almost certainly has to be somebody else if you believe in the headphone activity. And that's because at 5:21, he's at a fish store in Lafayette, and at 5:45, 5:44, somebody's plugging headphones in, and he can't get back to the fish store unless he's plugging headphones, unless he has the phone with him, and there's no evidence that he did.
Mm-hmm.
If he had somebody else is plugging headphones in at 5:44, 5:45 in the afternoon, and Ron Logan's on his way back from the fish store. So there's somebody else involved. If it's Ron Logan.
Well, all I know is that I would eat a ham sandwich off of his bathroom floor.
I've said that as
Sorry.
You could eat phyllo dough off his toilet seat.
Oh my God, that's right. Yes, that. Well, okay, but I mean, look, yeah. Well, but I think but I think the biggest thing here is to the point that the timeline and the narrative that the state put out there is, when you look at the data from the phone, even just from the phone, it doesn't seem to make sense what they're proposing. Also, I do think that it's interesting, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole necessarily, but I do think it's really interesting that they could have at any time looked at Rick Allen's phone activity, because they did take the number off of his device that he was using. Now, granted, he had a bunch of them, but could they not have done that? And that would have been because they were using the like geofence or whatever to rule people out. So I'm not exactly sure why after taking that information, they wouldn't have. I know, I hear you exhale, but anyway, but I'm just saying it's one more thing that is confounding to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, girl. Yeah. And it just doesn't make any. I don't know. It's and the thing, so you were saying no, let me back up. You were saying that the phone expert, Stacey, what's her last name? Eldridge?
Uh-huh.
Did you say she lives in Oklahoma?
She does.
Interesting. Huh. That is something. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Time to get my covered wagon going and head west.
The Oregon Trail? Get you some
Well,
dysentery?
or we could do the Trail of Tears.
Oh no, don't please. I'm leaving. I told you this is my week where I just leave it all in the field and then I'm leaving the country. So screw all you people.
Yeah, I'm getting out of Dodge soon too.
Yeah. Let me see. Going through. Oh, did want to ask you something. So the statement that Stacey Uliana, is it Stacey Uliana?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Put out about Rick's transfer. Does that lend itself to, hey, the lawyers really huddled up with Rick and decided for this move? Or you don't want to speculate?
She says it makes it more difficult. I infer from that she had nothing to do with it. So,
Mm.
I'm thinking one of two things happened, and um, neither of them really involves skullduggery. One is, at least somebody was saying, about a week or 10 days before the move, he was moved into general population, and if that's true, maybe something happened there that meant he had to be moved out for his own safety. The other thing I'm thinking is they were keeping him in seg for his own safety nominally in Indiana, and they didn't think they could release him to the general population here. Oklahoma said, yeah, we can release him to the general population, and the Indiana Department of Corrections sent him to Oklahoma because if they kept him in seg any longer, they were going to be looking at a serious lawsuit. Those are the only. Those are my two takes. You can come up with whatever nefarious, underhanded reason you like. I don't.
Yeah, I don't like it. Makes me angry.
Yeah, I mean, moving him far away from Kathy. I think I texted T. I mean, I don't know what she thinks or what. I merely suggested that since the transcripts were released for free, that she use the transcript money so that Kathy can make some trips to Oklahoma if she wants to. I'm not getting into it. I just haven't gotten a response. Don't expect a response. It was just my idea. And as I have said to you before, I have 99 ideas a day, and 101 of them are terrible.
Oh yeah, I mean, some days 101 are terrible.
That's just what I said.
I know. Um, yeah, so people are talking about wanting to bring on an expert. It's like that is something that, um, I believe people are trying to do, yeah?
I have a preliminary inquiry out. And depending on the results of that, we'll get into hiring an expert.
Okay. Who is this? Please stop interrupting the guests for squirrels. Who is that? They're talking about me interrupting you. Do you want to explain to them that that's how fake lawyers talk to each other?
I don't think you've interrupted me for squirrels. So, I everything you've asked or talked about is interesting and important. And
But listen, not for nothing though. I love squirrels. I do. I do. Ah,
and, and I've often used as an example of how much difference a letter can make is the difference between I love dogs and I love dog.
okay, go on.
I love squirrel.
What? What? Oh God.
Well, you love squirrels and I love squirrel.
Got it. Okay. I love, oh my God, I love lamp. What is that from? I love lamp. I love log. Um, well, I mean, so this is oh, that's what it is. I love lamp. So good. So good.
Hey, we've been on for almost an hour and a half. Do you want to get to the car overlay thing?
Oh, well, shit. I was gonna say, can we just go? I got,
We can.
okay, wait a
We
minute.
can. We don't. We can.
The car overlay has been done, yeah?
Up to you. It's your live.
Hey,
You are the MC.
this is, I don't know. I don't see anything that you sent me that has an overlay.
Yeah, it has two car. It's the one with, it's the Hoosier Harvest Store.
Okay.
It's the Hoosier Harvest Store.
Oh,
It's
okay. All right. I'll put this one. Let me just, yeah, I don't want to do the other two.
didn't I?
Just, no,
You don't want to do the other two?
I don't know how to do it. Hang on a second. Ah, it's just gonna, hang on. I'm not good at this. As people probably, I mean, Little Green knows that I'm terrible at this. So let's see, open. Okay, let me try to see if I can't send these all to myself. Um, ba, ba, ba. Like I said, my airdrop is not doing great. Please stand by. Talk amongst yourselves. Sing a little tune. Mm, 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 mm.
Well, I mean, while we're talking among ourselves, I guess what I want to say is
Mhm.
that the totality of the phone data, I mean, the Wi-Fi connection, the display on, display off events. By the way, there's extremely hinky information in the phone data about the sequence of lock screens. There's the device is locked. It wasn't, auto lock was not engaged, but it seemed to lock itself. Anyway, I can't really give you the details. I can only tell you that the totality of the phone evidence is suspicious as hell,
Yeah,
and that I've seen. And, if a phone expert tells me that this thing showing Wi-Fi connection doesn't mean what it says, I'm happy to defer to the experts. I can only read.
okay, so for some reason, this is not letting me, it's the way that they're saved. One moment, please. I'm just going to try to share my screen.
By the way, your
Okay.
title on here is about me wilding out. I think I've sort of made the most conservative case for this information that I can possibly make.
Look, my stream.
That's fine. I'm just saying I don't think anything I've said is
It's not. It's not at all. I think it's. I think it's funny just because I like to, because I know that wilding out is not even. You couldn't wild out if you tried. I mean, it would be the slowest wild out in the history of wild outs. Sorry. Okay, what's this picture?
the picture, the overlay picture of the two cars,
No,
the
I'm looking
Saturn
at.
and
But here's a picture. So you sent me three pictures. Here's one of a
I
picture
did.
in the garage. Is this Rick's car?
Yeah, that's Rick's car. That's an exhibit. It's 250 something.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Um,
put it up first.
that's a, where
You
are
can put
you?
it up.
It's
It'd
up
be
there.
better to put up.
It's up there.
I don't see it.
Does anybody not see it? Do people not see it?
Oh, I see it on the phone. I don't see it on I don't see it actually on the PC, but Yeah, so that's the picture of Rick's car, and look at the back of it. And this has already been, I mean, once these exhibits were released, people were all over this. It's not my, that's not my,
Right.
this isn't my find. Somebody else did, but
Can you
if
see
you
it
look at
now,
the back of it,
Michael?
look, all I see on is the phone stuff
Okay,
on the
chat.
P,
Can you see?
on
Can,
the,
can chat see
I,
a picture of a black car?
okay, they see the picture. I don't know. I'll reload the PC page.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Well, if you, yes, yeah. If I once I reload it, I have it. So okay, yeah. If you
Mhm.
look at Rick's got a normal rear wiper. There are some other pictures, but I think this is maybe the best one to show. He's got a nice flat back. The rear wiper is buried in a this
Mhm.
flat thing.
Mhm.
And put the Hoosier Hardware Store picture up, the blow
Okay.
up. So that's 250. It's not 250 something.
Mhm. One moment,
Wrong again.
please. Please stand by. Okay.
So if you zoom in on that, there is a black box of some sort on the back of that car. There is no such thing. Now, the picture of Rick's car is 5.5 years later, but I have gone to now two separate body shops and consulted with the most the most experienced post-conviction lawyer in the state, who also happens to be a total gearhead.
Mhm.
And nobody has any bloody idea what that is. Now, and I think I can say with some certainty that is not just an artifact of a blurred digital picture. That is actually something there. Um, Maybe somebody, so this was posted a long time, once, right when the exhibits came out,
Mhm.
somebody noticed this, and it's kind of lost everybody's attention. But I think it's really important to figure out what that thing is. I looked at, and it looks boxy, except when you zoom in, it looks like it's kind of possibly round. And it's a blurred picture. It'd be nice to have the original video. But one possibility is that it's an external Wi-Fi antenna.
What?
Those things exist. Yes, they're
What the
all
fuck?
round. They're all round. The ones I found anyway. I couldn't find any square ones, and they have wiring. And usually, it looks like people attach them to the roof. I don't know what they wire them to, but if you can still get reception on the back, it would make sense to put it on the back, because then, without having to go through the passenger driver's windows,
Mhm.
um, you could access the wiring for the rear wiper to power the thing if you mounted it there and you don't have wires everywhere. Now, I've never seen one of these Wi-Fi antennas mounted on the back like that. And as I said, two body shops, and body shops know cars, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
My gearhead post-conviction lawyer friend really knows cars,
Mhm.
and and they have no idea.
I got to be honest. I've never heard of a car Wi-Fi mounted on. I've not.
Cecil it.
Oh shit. All right. Well, I will. But I guess I don't understand the reason for them needing to exist. But whatever.
So
That's
that you
me.
don't use, well, oh, so somebody put in the chat, maybe Starlink. Yeah, it could be a Starlink antenna for the It's so you're not using cell data.
Oh, got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right. All right. Got it. Got it.
I mean, yeah.
There's not another picture either. So that's the unfortunate thing, right? Is that we don't really have any clear photos of this stuff.
Well, look, this one is clear. You can argue. So Hella, if you go down and look at the wheels, they
Oh,
made a
yeah.
big deal. Hella made a
Uh-huh.
big deal about how she thinks, and Hella knows her stuff. So she thinks at least possibly he'd have to have the originals and not a scan of
Yeah.
not a scan of a piece of paper. But
Mhm.
she thinks that the brightness in the wheels that they say is the sun shining through Rick's wheels is
Mhm.
like he has particular kind of wheel. It's not a wheel cover; it's actually the actual wheel. And I'd love to get the original and get Hella to work on it. And then if Hella says, yeah, it was brightened up, look, I don't go for skullduggery immediately. I just don't.
Well, wait a minute though, but
Um,
okay, so back when there used to be SciQuest discs, and nobody's going to remember what that was, but uh, this part right here is weird to me. It looks almost like, what am I talking about? I mean, that looks like something's been erased, like with a bad Photoshop job or a bad whatever. I don't know, but I think you're right. Somebody needs to look at it. It just looks weird. Um, it
well,
almost
but I
looks
think but yeah, I mean, but that's a
whatever. I
separate
don't know.
question. Identifying what the box is the first cut.
No, no,
That,
I understand, but my point is that that looks janky to me on the ground, which suggests something janky could happen here. Um, that's all.
yeah, I think
Mm.
the ground thing. I think the ground thing is just pixelation.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. I mean, it's a video, right? Um, so what is this
I think.
third photo you sent me though? This one that
Oh yeah,
has,
yeah. Put it up and I'll explain it. It's
yeah,
really a piece
because I
of
think
brilliant.
this is interesting.
It is brilliant work, and it needs to be gotten to a photogrammetrist.
Okay, un moment.
Yeah, streets. That's not. No way that small thing is a bike rack. I don't think.
You'd be
I don't exclude. I don't
you'd be
exclude any.
amazed though. You'd be amazed, honestly. There's some that when I used to have a car living in the Middle West, there's some. I mean, I think the point though is that it's still, no matter what it is, it's not in the car, on Rick's car. So tell me what this is.
So what this is? Somebody did this really.
Okay, you're totally muffled. Hang on.
Hang on. Is that better?
Yep, 100%.
So what somebody did was really brilliant woman had the idea. I'm going to take the picture of Sarah Carbaugh's car
Oh,
and I'm going to overlay it with the picture of Rick's car. So Sarah
oh.
Carbaugh's car is a Saturn Ion. I forget the year.
Mm-hmm.
Rick's car is a 2012 Focus, right?
Right.
And no, don't zoom back out a little bit, please.
Yes, ma'am. Sir, is that better?
No, zoom out, please, a little bit. Get the whole thing in. I need this timestamps in.
Okay, hang on.
So what she did was she said, make the timestamps the same size and you will have the right relative size of these two cars.
Mm.
And she did. I don't know that the timestamps are exactly the same size. She may have measured them, but what I'm saying is the idea is exactly right, that if you make the timestamps the same size, then you're going to have the correct relative size of the cars on the road.
Okay.
And at least the way she's done it, the black car that's supposed to be Rick's is bigger than the Saturn Ion, which is Sarah Carbaugh's. Ford Focuses are not bigger than Saturn Ions. So that is not Rick's car, if this is right.
They're not the same aspect ratio.
It's not. They're close. I mean, I haven't measured it in pixels on the thing, but they're close. And yes, at that distance, a small difference could. I said it needs to get to a pro. But if they're not the same size, and that car is sufficiently, the black car, so-called black car, I think there's some pictures where it's arguably gray. That car is sufficiently bigger than the Ion that, you know, that reducing the size. So that's the other thing. I don't know which timestamp goes with which picture. Does the bigger timestamp go with a picture of Rick's car, or the one alleged to be Rick's car, or does the bigger timestamp go with Sarah Carbaugh's car? If the bigger timestamp goes,
the bigger, so the all the way over to the right, you see the lighter, the 50, the :50:1. That goes, if you follow the road, that
so
goes underneath the alleged.
Yeah, so the brighter one, good catch. That's exactly right. So the brighter one, which is bigger, goes with Sarah Carbaugh's car. Which means Sarah Carbaugh's car appears bigger than it actually, relatively bigger than it should in relation to Rick's car.
I mean, I think that's right. I don't know. I'm just eyeballing.
Yeah. If the timestamp for the picture is bigger, then the car will be bigger.
Yep. No, I'm just saying that it appears that runs to Sarah Carbaugh's car is what I'm saying. I can't.
No, you're absolutely right because of the hang on. There's a 54-minute difference. And that's her going by at 16:50. Yeah, so that's the 4 o'clock. So it's 52 minutes off. You subtract 52, it's 3:50. Everybody said 3:56. It should be like 3:57 and change. Anyway, if it's off by 54 minutes. So the brighter one, the bigger one, which seems to be on top, goes with Sarah Carbaugh's car, and it's the bigger one. So that the difference, so the black thing that's supposed to be a Ford Focus, is actually should be bigger in size than is shown there, because Sarah Carbaugh's car appears to be bigger. I think it's a brilliant idea. And as I said, it needs to be gotten to a photogrammetrist. I'm going to work on that too. And if you all disagree, then you're free to disagree. I just think it's a terrific idea and really, really nicely done. If not precisely. Look, the person who did it could have actually measured the pixels, and it could be an optical illusion that the brighter timestamp is bigger than the dimmer timestamp. I mean, they could be exactly the same size.
No, because look at the road, right? You see the difference in the road? You can see the shadow here of the image of the barn, right? Barn.
I don't understand what that has to do with the relative size.
I don't know.
The road actually smoothly connects at the
right
edge
where
of
they're
one.
at. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm noting the differences. That's all.
Yeah, well, maybe we should get Hella on it first.
Yep. I mean, I'm not, as you listen, I'm half blind. Uh, 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 okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not aspect, DB, it's not aspect ratio, it's relative sizes. It has nothing to do with aspect ratio. I don't think.
So, and this is the Hoosier Harvest Shore. Got it. Okay. All right. Hmm. I just want to look at this again. This is the wrong, is this the wrong one? No, that's the right one. So, but this is so I think that I'm kind of done today. So,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, so, but this is and I think All Eyes has this and it's going to put it up. This is in the sort of database, but, uh, let's see. So this is the big takeaway, the new sort of information that maybe the hive mind can come up with.
It's the one with documentary support. I think that the
Yeah.
display off events is pretty huge.
Yeah.
I think the funky lock or lack of lock activity is pretty odd.
Hmm.
You know, that phone was actually locked when that video was taken. I don't know how that happened. Um, that
Hmm.
that phone locks after the second Snapchat activity and never unlocks again, is my recollection.
So this is, so we add this into the more information pile, and more
Yeah,
information is good. So,
yeah. And where's the
um,
upload? For the Snapchat stuff, where's the upload activity, folks?
yeah. All right. Well, listen, uh, I'm here as a hostage, so I am, uh, um,
Well,
I'm
I
going,
I, I, I will get out before you hate me among the most.
right. Yeah, you suck. Okay, goodbye. All right, folks. So, whoops. That's me, and I'm, whatever. So there's your new information, I guess. Again, I just brought his ass on here because I honestly don't know anything about. You guys are the smart ones that have all this stuff in your brains. I do not. Um, but thank you so much. As always, everyone, as you know, I think that you guys absolutely